Welcome to 3x5 News, Views, and Reviews. Scribbling and discourse. We get in and we get out fast, so keep up. You're making me say that I've got nobody but you. But as from today, well, I've got somebody that's new. I ain't no fool, and I don't take what I don't want. For I have got another girl, another guy. He's sweeter than all the boys, and I've met quite a few. Nobody in all the world can do what he can do. And so I'm telling you, this time you'd better stop, for I have got another guy, another girl, who will love me till the end. Through thick and thin, they will always be my friend. Oh, why should you watch me? I mean, aside from my obvious vocal talents. After all, YouTube is replete with lengthy political conversations. That's not meant to be a criticism, because I find those on my favorite channels informative, brilliant even, personally incapable, not to mention uninterested in speaking at length. I aim to produce succinct analyses. I think you'll find them original, surprising, outside the box, and personal. In other words, you won't hear what I have to say anywhere else. Oh, one more thing. I goof around a lot. Let's dive in. It's sad how, since 2015, Donald Trump has taken up lodging in my brain. It's like having this overweight tenant in the room above mine who's constantly lumbering around and blustering into his phone. Not only doesn't he pay rent, he does the opposite. He extracts costs in every way imaginable from me and every American, from financial to emotional to spiritual. Just like he couldn't be impeached or found guilty of any charges filed against him, such as obstructing the election on January 6th, I'm unable to evict him. His lease is up in 2028, but I'm afraid he will just keep squatting. I shouldn't have said that. Now I won't be able to get the image of him squatting for the rest of the day. I don't know which is worse, that people voted for Trump and are aware of what he's doing, are okay with it, or that people who voted for Trump don't even know what he's doing. The first are dangerous because of their vindictiveness, the second because of their indifference. We are stuck between the rock and the hard place of cruelty and ignorance, a narrow gorge that emits very little light. Two common complaints you hear today are, one, that except for bites in social media such as TikTok, people don't read, and two, that we are overwhelmed by disinformation, which many are incapable of distinguishing from the truth. I know it's a fruitless exercise, but for the sake of argument, let's assume we are trying to direct consumers of right-wing media to news media that is dedicated to the pursuit of actual truth. Unfortunately, a complication arises. Though it is tough to begrudge them in the current economic climate, much of the content of news media dedicated to the pursuit of said truth is hidden behind paywalls. You can get an article or two free from the New York Times or the Washington Post, nothing really from the Atlantic or the New Yorker. The same with foreign publications, though thank God for the New Republic, which has many free articles, and a few others such as ProPublica. Most everything else is subscription, including Substack. Plus, large language model artificial intelligence respects paywalls. Personally maxed out on subscriptions to the pricey New York Times and New Yorker. Again, no complaints. I couldn't even begin to think about subscribing to one or a handful of authors on Substack. There's always the Associated Press, Reuters, the BBC, and NPR, but, however unfairly, they are perceived as a little on the dry side. Of course, many don't consume news from reputable outlets. They just see what's thrust upon them by TikTok, Instagram, etc. If they click on one right-wing outlet, those will be all they see for the foreseeable future. Same with outlets on the progressive spectrum. I don't know for sure, but because they are backed by more money than outlets on the left, and because they are aggressive and proselytizing by nature, I'm guessing there may be more right-wing print outlets that don't require subscriptions. I'm certainly not clicking on them to find out. Meanwhile, those readers who fall on the progressive spectrum and who can't pay for multiple subscriptions are excluded from in-depth news, analyses, and opinion pieces, not to mention policy papers. With no apparent workarounds, what's the play here? In my case, starved for more in-depth journalism, news stories, and analyses, I have turned to YouTube. Wait a minute, am I saying that YouTube is a more comprehensive source for in-depth journalism and analyses than the web? In fact, that may be the case. On YouTube, you find authors talking about their articles and analyses which I can't read because they are behind paywalls, as well as their books. What's more, I keep discovering experts and authors that I had never heard of because of how closed off much of the web is. I have to admit that even though YouTube's parent company, Google Alphabet, recently embarrassed itself by essentially paying for Trump's beloved ballroom, I am continually surprised at YouTube's daily cavalcade of remarkable commentary. Given the choice, I am a compulsive reader, but for me, staying abreast has evolved from principally a reading experience to an audio-visual one. Are we returning to an oral tradition? Like ancient peoples gathering around the campfire, listening to messengers narrating what they have learned in lands distant, and storytellers spinning their wit and wisdom.